How's that sound?
Beautiful.
I will be right back. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks, and joining me is the tallest Canadian I have ever seen.
Lay it on pretty thick.
What a great story.
It's frustrating when I'm hanging out with Phil, who's also on Movies and Films and Flicks quite a bit, is because I'm the tallest Canadian people have ever seen, but the lights dim for Phil. And so, like, if we combined our efforts, we could be a Desperado, but we should have half of the pie.
I found it. I love my having you and Phil on the show. Like, you guys, that's what I love about MFF, man. I got the most interesting group of guests, and it always makes me happy. There's always something always different that I can look forward to, and I love it.
So Phil and I often refer to you as R. Rodriguez, and I say I'm Banderas and he's Trejo. We're always there. We're like a crew.
Dude, I love it, man. That's a sweet crew right there. And
right?
Let's talk about Trejo in this movie and throwing knives, because
now, was this Trejo's first movie?
So he had done extra work before. So he came out of LA when he did this movie. So he didn't just find him, on the streets. Like, he came down, he found him from LA.
But he was doing like stunt choreography and fight choreography, right?
Yeah. Let me look him up, because he said that he was already acting in LA when he got him. But let me look him up. I mean, he just had the best look though about him, and just Megan watched a scene and she's like, man, look at Trejo all svelte. But that scene though, man, where listen, I do think it's pretty interesting that the driver of that limo didn't just smush him when he goes in front of it, but whatever.
Yes.
But it's such like an iconic scene, because I just had never seen throwing knives. I'd probably seen throwing stars, but watching these throwing knives and watching how he just killed Buscemi, and then it was interesting too with Banderas, because he takes 3 to the body, and they really like Banderas sells the pain. Like he shows how hurt he is.
Early on, like this was in that 94 era where we're moving away from Stallone and Schwarzenegger, and we're going more the route of Bruce Willis and Keanu Reeves, right? Like Die Hard and Speed are kind of changing what we think an elite action star looks like. Mm-hmm. It's kind of changing the conversation. And Banderas kind of falls somewhere in the middle there, but I would say that his character is in a world that he's surviving in, but not thriving in. Like, he's not this unstoppable guy. He gets legitimately hurt almost every time he goes out.
And he would have been killed by Trejo easily.
Easily.
Trejo, yeah, and so Trejo had been acting since '83. That was his first extra role. Yeah, so he did 80. He's all a bunch of extra roles here. But yeah, I love that he's not perfect. And Banderas gets shot, and you get the chunky bullet pulling scene with Salma Hayek pulling that out of his arm.
When she yells hot water and he spits it out and goes, "Are you trying to kill me?" I thought that was the funniest thing I'd ever seen.
I think you're right that he fits in right between this, because he's super sane. He's also not built like a brick. And I really like that about him. Like, he still has some sensitivity to him. And his scenes with Salma Hayek, it was just nice not watching an emotionless man on screen. And that's what I like about Keanu in Speed. He just seems like a nice dude. And those are the action heroes I like most. And I think that's another thing I loved about this, was just watching Banderas just own the screen. It was awesome.
Everything he did, from his like the musical number at the credits.
Oh, when he goes under the disco ball.
When he goes under the disco ball, when he smacks that guy with his guitar, there's that great blood spray that comes out, and he doesn't miss a beat. I'm like, that's like right there. That's when you're like, well, what are we watching right now? This is incredible.
Oh, it's so good. And I love him with the other mariachis. So you had, you had the original mariachi with him.
Yep.
But then you also had, what I love is the one that wasn't in the movie beforehand. Was it not Campa? I think what was the other one's name?
Kino.
Campa
and Kino.
He was an accountant, and Robert Rodriguez couldn't get actors to come down to Mexico. He's like, well, he's a good-looking kid. He wants to act, so he put him in the movie.
Right, and that's how legends are born.
But they were cool, man. Like, this is so cool. And watching Banderas, like when he like, what, let's play, and he does the neck snap, and then and there's a scene where everyone runs out of bullets and he just snaps a dude's neck. What a great scene. And I also love the names of the characters in this movie. You get Buscemi, right hand, pickup guy.
Yeah, the pickup guy.
Oh, that makes me so happy. But yeah, no, sorry to hijack what you're saying, but yeah, he absolutely does fit that middle ground where he's still the traditional murder everybody action hero, but he's not the best at it, which is
But
really nice.
he also gets sympathy along the way. Like, it's hard for Schwarzenegger to get sympathy because he's always the biggest guy in the movie, right? Like, Schwarzenegger wanted to play RoboCop, and they say, well, by the time you put a suit on this guy, he's going to tower over everything, and then there's no drama there because he's just so big. And so with Banderas, you get a guy that, you know, he gets shot, he goes down, and you're like, oh, he's not the biggest dog in the fight.
That's wonderful. You remember Fast and Furious 4 when Vin Diesel gets shot and he just looks at it and goes, "Oh, I'll be all right." In this one, when Banderas takes knife shots to the arm, they look like they're gonna kill him. And that arm, when he's getting dug into, he's hurt. And I like that he sells the pain. You're right. Yeah.
And the scene where he's walking down the blood trails against the wall.
Oh yeah.
You're like, the guy's a hurting unit right now. He needs help.
That's the best part though, man, isn't it? Just watching that. I think it sells the action. I think it makes it so much better.
Yeah.
I'm not into those kind of unstoppable killing machine movies. So The Raid is probably like my favorite action movie ever made. But I do like those guys that get knocked down and just like, you know, you watch what like Martin Riggs in the first Lethal Weapon and Danny Glover. Like, I love that they take some pain. I dig that about them.
I was listening to a Bruce Pritchard podcast. He does the pro wrestling stuff. And when he used to get tapes of, like, back in the 80s and early 90s, if you were a wrestler in the indie scenes, you'd send VHS tapes in to, like, the big companies to say, here's my work, take a look at me. And Bruce said the guys would send in, like, highlight reels of them doing big moves and looking impressive. And I was like, I want to see them lose. I want to see them how they can sell pain. I want to see them get hurt. I want to see them take big moves. That's what I want to see, because that's where the story is. Anybody can win a match. I want to see this guy convincingly lose one.
When you get slapped in the chest, I want to see that pain. You know,
exactly.
When you get a lower back strike. Oh,
right?
Okay. Have you seen Four Brothers?
Yeah, it's great.
There's a scene where Mark Wahlberg punches Chiwetel Ejiofor, and he sells that back punch like nothing I've ever seen in my life before. He goes, "Whoa!" It's the greatest thing I've ever seen, because listen, man, doesn't matter the size of the person. If they punch you in the back and you're not really paying attention, it's going to hurt. You're going to react like that.
You know, I think the best sell in a movie is, remember in Hard Target when that guy gets his ear cut off?
Oh, yeah.
And then the next scene, he puts the phone to his ear and he's like, and he winces when he hits it. That to me conveyed the most pain, that I winced with him. Because I was like, don't answer the phone that way. But it was akin to like when you bite your lip and then it's swollen, so you bite it more because you forget that it's swollen.
Oh, man. And that's such good acting, because he didn't seem to anticipate it. Because that's a gag.
Right.
That's a good actor right there.
Absolutely. So again, selling the little pain, selling the big pain, selling the pain mid fight. That's fantastic stuff.
So I just wanted to go off on a random tangent. I was watching Letterkenny the other day, and there's a wedding episode, and there was three big city guys, and when the first two would talk, I would always watch the third one, and he would just wait to say his line. He wasn't listening, and it always annoyed me. I just wanted to tell you that. Yeah. So I love it when they don't anticipate.
Right.
Like an ear strike. I mean, if you're a stuntman, you probably got to move a certain way. You don't want to get plugged right in the face. But I just want to throw that out there. And Letterkenny's beautiful, by the way. Just getting out there. I'm not shading Letterkenny. But I think Letterkenny's so good, you notice when something's really good, you notice the flaws. Like,
yes,
the worst thing that's ever happened to you in your life.
Yeah. Well, the thing about, and then we'll stop talking about obscure Canadian comedies. But the thing about Letterkenny is that when it's hot, it's red hot, and because of that, when something misses, you can really tell it misses big. Yeah,
the Dick episode.
Yeah.
I almost turned that episode off.
Right. Because you're like, what? This isn't what I wanted to watch.
Like, they committed to it, which I respected. I mean, you and I are big. You know what I noticed too? Letterkenny, it's all about bits, and you and I work so many bits. Like, we were wrestlers.
Well, it's almost like a sketch comedy where it's like, okay, we're gonna do this. Here comes the produce stand bit. Then here comes like the youth pastor bit. And here comes like the goth kids bit. And it's almost like they're different sketches in a sketch comedy show.
Yeah. And in the familiarity, right? The sketches that you get. Because you know what, though? SNL has the same characters coming back. So you get that familiarity.
Exactly.
That's why I bring you on this thing, A+. Say, you want to talk about our favorite 11 through 15 coolest moments in Desperado?
Absolutely, I do.
And this is a weird
Absolutely, I
idea,
do.
but everyone talks about the cool moments. Let's talk about 11 through 15.
Okay, do you want to go first? Do you want me to go first?
Let me I guess I'll drop one. There's a scene where I
Okay.
love where Kino he hides. Oh wait, after he blows up something and after Kampa shoots a bunch of things, he just leans on his guitar case and just looks very satisfied while being surrounded by probably a dozen men shooting machine guns at him. But he just looks so
Right.
relaxed and he looks so pleased with himself. And it's totally, and I also love when they're shooting at him, he hides behind his guitar case, like he squats on the ground. It's just good. I think great action films are the ones that feature excellent background performances or secondary performances. Like The Rock. Bokeem Woodbine makes a meal out of his major scene in that movie. When you have such a deep bench, so that's yeah, I had to bring up deep. Like, it has such a deep bench. I just love that scene. It's such a cool moment.
Beautiful. One of my number 11 is, does anybody know the number to the phone in my car? Because you have like the big bad where like the country of Mexico is scared to say this guy's name. And he's trying to kill this one guy who is like a ghost, that he doesn't know what's going on. And he has this very expensive car he's bought because he's rich and he wants to be the rich bad guy and have everything, but nobody knows how to use the phone, get a hold of the phone in his car. And it's just this perfect like moment of frustration.
And I love that Shrug just has no idea. He just kind of, well, no one knows. Oh, it's beautiful. What a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
Oh, and you know what? If I was Bucho, I would be infuriated because it's not my job to know that number. Right hand should have given him that number.
Absolutely.
So he's justifiably angry. I like that. All right. Okay. So
no, and in that moment, I was gonna say it's in that moment of like, I'm about to leave the house and I can't find my keys. Well, like where could it's like this? I need it now. And he just wants to know the number to the phone in his car.
Oh, it's a beautiful moment, and no one knows it. It's so cheeky, man. I don't think people knew that they could laugh at this movie. There's a lot of great comedic bits in it that I adore. So
I think Paul Verhoeven, when he made RoboCop, said, if people understand they can laugh at this movie at the jokes, it'll succeed. If they don't get that it's dark comedy, it's not gonna make it. And I think this movie's kind of the same thing. Like, you have to know that it's okay to laugh at these things.
It's like Showgirls too. He made that as a comedy over the top, and everyone took it seriously. So I guess that's his fault. But yeah, no, you're right. I mean, you just gotta understand it, get on its way. Like if you're thinking you're gonna watch Silverado, you just gotta kind of tamper your expectations, I think. But it's beautiful. I guess okay. So my number 12 is, I love when the guys crash their cars when Salma Hayek's just walking across the street, because it's not it's not that crazy of an accident. It's not like there's no like whooping and hollering. It's just a funny random moment where two cars smash into each other, and it's never mentioned again. It's just such a, Robert Rodriguez just said, I wanted to have that scene just to show just to really give Salma the best entrance possible. So he wanted to make her pop because he just loved her as an actress. So I just love that the two cars just smash into each other, and it's not overly comedic, but it gets the point across, and I just love that thing. So I'm gonna say number 12 because he just wanted to really make her pop. So that's my number 12.
All right, my number 12 is, and the only reason it's for 12, maybe it would rank higher in my own personal rankings, but as far as cool moments in this movie, it's this real heartfelt moment where Antonio Banderas is teaching that kid how to play guitar. And he's like, don't worry about this hand, like this. And practice, and tomorrow I'll teach you a tune using what you have learned. And he plays that little ditty. You know my friend Brad Acker, who I went to high school with, and we had guitar class together. And whenever we would learn something new, we'd look at each other and race each other to say, like, I'll teach you tomorrow a tune using what you have learned. But it was this like really cool little moment between Banderas and this kid. In the middle of this movie where everyone's just shooting at everybody, there's this kind of like little heart moment. And then my friend and I made a bit out of it. So that's my number 12 moment.
I love it. The scales that he's playing.
Yeah.
You got to learn the basics, man. You got to build that foundation. Everyone wants to be
get your muscle memory going.
Rocking your 45-minute guitar solo first. They didn't take the years to learn.
Right. They got to get those. They got to get those years learning if they want to play on the soundtrack to start Sharks in Sweden.
Oh man, that guitar lick. You